Hey buddy, buckle up and grab your seat because I'm about to dive deep into Australia's story this time. Real talk, full excitement, like I'm sitting right next to you spilling it all. You ready? This video is gonna glue you to the screen. You won't want to click away, I promise. Let's roll, and trust me, every second is worth it. Imagine this, modern-day Australia, one of the coolest, most livable countries on the planet. Why? Life here is next level. The education system is world-class. Universities consistently top global rankings. Healthcare, so solid that hospitals are cutting edge, wait times are short, and everyone gets high-quality care. Salaries, average income is sky-high. Even the minimum wage beats a lot of European countries. Then there's that famous laid-back Aussie vibe. No worries, mate, zero stress, everyone surfing, firing up the barbie, chilling on the beach. That combo is so perfect, people straight up call it the best place in the world. Now here's the mind-blowing part. Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide. These 5 big cities have been dominating the Economist's Global Liveability Index, Mercer's Quality of Living rankings, and Monocle's lists for years, always in the top 10. Why? Safety, top-tier healthcare, rich culture, clean environment, elite education, rock-solid infrastructure. People here live to an average of 81 to 85 years, men around 81.3, women 85.4, one of the longest life expectancies anywhere. But hold on, let's rewind, because this paradise used to be absolute hell. Just 150 to 160 years ago, in the 1870s, if a baby was born here, their average life expectancy was only 34 years. Can you wrap your head around that? 34. Why so short? Life was brutal. Deserts, scorching sun, drought, deadly wildlife, diseases. People slaved away in fields, mines, construction like there was no tomorrow. And why was it like that? Because for the first 100 plus years of its European history, Australia was basically Britain's giant open-air prison. Yeah, you heard right, a penal colony. Back in the 1700s and 1800s, Britain's jails were overflowing. Petty thieves stealing bread, people locked up for debt, thousands of them. Instead of serving time at home, what happened? They got shipped off on boats to the farthest corner of the world, Australia. They called it transportation. Convicts, guards, families, months-long horrific voyages full of sickness and death. When they arrived, nothing, just wild bush and indigenous people. And who were those indigenous people? Here's where the story gets the most emotional and important. The Aboriginal Australians, the continent's first owners, had been here for a staggering 65,000 years. Yes, 65,000. At the end of the Ice Age, they crossed from Southeast Asia by boat, on foot, island hopping to reach the landmass. Then they spread across the entire massive continent, from the Torres Strait Islands in the north to Tasmania in the south. Over 500 different nations, each with their own languages, customs, songs, dreamtime stories, hunting techniques. They lived in incredible harmony with nature. They mastered fire, invented the boomerang, made medicine from plants, navigated by the stars. Peaceful, sustainable living for tens of thousands of years, until the white man showed up and everything changed. In the early 1600s, the first Europeans appeared, the Dutch. William Jansoen landed on the northern coast in 1606, the first recorded contact. Then Dirk Hardig hit the west coast at Shark Bay in 1616, left a pewter plate, it's still in a museum. Abel Tasman discovered Tasmania in 1642 and called it Van Diemen's Land. He also spotted New Zealand. They mapped it as New Holland. But why didn't they colonize? The Dutch were practical. No spices, no gold, no real trade, way too far and expensive. Forget it. The Spice Islands, Indonesia, were way more profitable, so they focused there. For about 100 years, Australia was basically forgotten. Then we hit the 18th century. 1770 brings in the legend, Captain James Cook, on HMS Endeavour, exploring the Pacific. In April 1770, he sighted the east coast, anchored at Botany Bay. Botanist Joseph Banks was on board, collecting plants, animals, samples like crazy, taking endless notes. Cook and crew made first contact with locals, Eora people, a bit tense, a bit curious. They stayed a week, then sailed north. They ran aground on the Great Barrier Reef, total adventure. Cook claimed the entire east coast for Britain as New South Wales. Back home, his report said, this place is habitable, good harbours, good for farming. That report changed everything, but the real trigger happened across the Atlantic. The American Revolutionary War, 1775 to 1783. Britain lost the 13 colonies. The US was born. Their prison dumping ground, America, shut down. Jails were bursting. Crime in London was rising. Solution: Australia. Thanks to Cook's reports, they said, let's go build a colony there. In 1787, the first fleet set sail. 11 ships, about 1,400 people, more than half convicts. Men, women, children, an 8-month nightmare voyage. January 1788, they reached Botany Bay. But Governor Arthur Phillip didn't like it. Water's scarce, soil's poor, not livable. They sailed north to Port Jackson, a stunning natural harbour. This is perfect, Phillip said. On January 26, 1788, they officially founded Sydney Cove. That's still celebrated as Australia Day today. Controversial, but historically accurate. The early years were pure chaos. Starvation, disease, discipline breakdowns. Convicts were forced to work, chop trees, build houses, clear land. Guards were harsh, but over time, sentences ended. Emancipists became became free settlers arrived, soldiers retired and stayed, families poured in. Population slowly grew, but peace? Not even close. 1804 Castle Hill Convict Rebellion, brutally crushed. 1808 Rum Rebellion, soldiers overthrew the governor, the only armed coup in Australia's history. Then Lachlan Macquarie arrived, 1810 to 1821. I'm going to make Australia proper, he said. Roads, bridges, buildings, schools. He turned Sydney into a real city. Macquarie's era felt like a golden age. Meanwhile, the French was sniffing around.
1788 La Pérouse, 1800 Baudin.
We want in too. Britain panicked, claim more land fast. 1803 to 1804 Hobart and Launceston, Tasmania. 1824 Brisbane, Moreton Bay Penal Colony. 1829 Perth, Swan River. 1835 Melbourne. 1836 Adelaide. The continent started filling up. But for Aboriginal people, this settlement was pure catastrophe. First blow, diseases. 1789 smallpox epidemic. Half or more of Sydney area Aboriginals died. Almost no deaths among the British. They had immunity. Then measles, flu, whooping cough, tuberculosis. Indigenous people had no defense. Their populations dropped by tens or hundreds of thousands. Cultural clashes made it worse. Aboriginals hunted animals. British said, "That's my cow." Stealing. Retaliations began. Frontier wars from 1788 to the 1930s. Clashes, ambushes, massacres. Mile Creek Massacre, Coniston Massacre, shameful chapters. Thousands of Aboriginals killed, lands taken. Still, some bright spots. Bennelong from the Eora lived with the British, even went to London. Bungaree sailed around the continent with Matthew Flinders, the first Australia-born person to circumnavigate the world. Efforts at peace existed, but mostly failed. By the 1850s, gold rush. Edward Hargraves found gold in Bathurst in 1851. News spread. The world went mad. Tens of thousands of miners from China, Britain, America, everywhere. Population jumped from 430,000 to 1.1 million in a decade. Victoria and New South Wales got filthy rich. But when gold dried up, taxes rose, injustice exploded. 1854 Eureka Stockade, miners rebelled, soldiers crushed it, but public support won rights. The idea, all equal before the law, took root here. Then the economy boomed. Railways crisscrossed the continent, Melbourne and Sydney exploded. Factories sprang up. But in the bush, poverty bred bushrangers. Australia's Jesse Jameses and Billy the Kids. Ned Kelly with his armoured helmet became a legend, still in movies and songs today. 1890s depression hit, unemployment, strikes, unions grew strong. But this crisis birthed something. We are Australians, not just Britain's extension. In 1901, the 6 colonies federated, Commonwealth of Australia. First PM Edmund Barton. But early laws were shameful. White Australia policy, keeping out Asians, Pacific Islanders, Africans. Racist era, one everyone regrets now. 1914 to 1918 World War I. Anzacs wrote legends at Gallipoli. April 25, 1915. Anzac Day is still a national day of mourning and pride. 60,000 dead, 150,000 wounded. Their bravery became myth. Then World War II. Japanese bombed Darwin. Midget subs attacked Sydney Harbour. Australia faced war on its own soil for the first time. Britain's too far to protect us. They turned to the US. Post-war massive migration. Italians, Greeks, Germans, Dutch, then Vietnamese, Lebanese, millions. White Australia quietly died. Economy rocketed. Cars, construction, mining. 1970 SADS. Vietnam War involvement, but also soul-searching. 1992 Mabwa decision. Recognized native title. 2008 Kevin Rudd apologized. 1973 Sydney Opera House opened. World wonder. 2000 Olympics. Spectacular showcase. Today Australia is a multicultural mosaic. Over 30 million people from 200 plus nations. Wealthy, free, packed with natural beauty, top-tier quality of life. From those first convict ships to now, an unbelievable journey of survival, adaptation, rebirth. So what do you think, buddy? Didn't this story blow your mind? Australia's basically pulled off the impossible. Stick around till the end. This epic success tale is worth every second. Wouldn't you love to go there one day and say, "G'day, mate"?